Namaste. And thank you for your presence. This practice is about Svādhyāya, or self-study. Through self-study, it is possible to discover the greater consciousness that is present in the whole universe, and understanding how the individual self fits into that consciousness. By developing our understanding of our own nature, it increases our ability to understand and empathize with others. Svādhyāya is practiced through mindful awareness of ourselves, our thoughts, and the roots of our actions. The traditional method for practicing Svādhyāya is through the study of spiritual texts, to consider their relevance to yourself, your mind, and your life. Meditation is an effective tool for practicing mindfulness, usually by repeating a mantra, to silence the thoughts in the mind and turn the attention inward rather than outward. But any yoga practice can become a Svādhyāya practice. The key is to be incredibly present and aware of your own body, mind, and emotions. Self-study in yoga also means studying the body and understanding its needs and limitations. Now, we're ready to center and invoke a spirit of self-study for this sacred time and special place that we're practicing. Bring to mind your inner focus, mindfulness, and understanding as you breathe in, lifting the heart, rolling the shoulders back. And as you breathe out, pulling the navel in and sitting steady and firm. Being mindful of the way you're breathing and the touch of air in the nostrils, the expansion, contraction of the lungs, and your posture, aligning the head, neck, and trunk in a plumb line over the sitting bones. Now, using Vishnu Mudra, we'll practice Nadi Shodhanam, alternate nostril breathing. Fold the first two fingers into the palm and use the thumb and last two fingers to alternately open or close one nostril at a time. We keep the head up, shoulders back. Breathe in through both nostrils, filling the lungs. The top of the inhale, close the left. Begin slowly exhaling through the right. Count to 3. Inhale right, same count of 3. The top of your inhale, switch sides and exhale left, counting to 3. Inhale, same count of 3. And switching at the top. And continue breathing and counting to yourself. Switching at the top of the inhale to the next side. And then rest the hands on the knees. Breathe normally. Pranayama is a good way to bring mindfulness to the breath and a good preparation for meditation, or in this case, asana practice. It helps to bring balance. The extension of the thumb, ring, and little fingers helps to restore balance to the lower three chakras. Okay, now we're going to embody this Svādhyāya, or self-study, by coming first to a kneeling position and practicing some spinal flexion and extension using this cat and cow series of movements. Just spreading the fingers, widening the knees hip distance apart, and moving the knees back from the hands far enough to lengthen the sides of the body, armpits moving forward, and the hips pressing back. And on the inhalation, raise your eyes, lift the sitting bones, and then on the exhalation, lower your gaze, lift through the navel, and keep the arms straight, the hands strong, as you move from one complete breath to the next, without any pauses or jerkiness, but one breath just melting into the next, continuous and unbroken. And starting to become aware of the spine and flexing and extending from the tip of the tailbone, moving sequentially up through each vertebrae to the crown of the head, and then back down. Bringing your awareness to focus on each section of the spine as you move, and your breathing are coordinated. Now coming back to a neutral spine, just balance on the left knee and lift the right leg. Maybe rotate the ankle. Then balance on the right arm and lift the left arm. Inhale to lift and extend, and exhale to integrate and focus on core strength. And lower the hand and knee down, and switch legs. Extend the left leg and lift it up. And loosen the ankle, spread the toes, and then we'll balance on the left arm, lift the right arm up. Inhale to lift and extend, and exhale to draw into the core with muscular energy, integrating the arms into the shoulders, and the thigh bone into the hip socket. Last breath there. And then rest and bring it down to child's pose, pressing the hips back to the heels and bowing the head down. Inhale, expanding in the back and neck. And exhaling, contracting in the navel. Complete breath in and complete breath out. On the next inhale, lift the hips up, Step right foot forward, low lunge. Walk the left knee back. And climb the hands up onto the right knee. Rest. Open to this present moment with your awareness. What are you feeling in your body? How is your breath reacting? How is the mind reacting? With steadiness and holding that muscular energy in the hips and pelvis, start to lift the arms. Maintaining nice, even breath. Expanding to the fingertips on the inhale and contracting to the navel center on the exhale. And lower the hands down and switch feet. Step right foot back and the left foot forward. Lengthen your stance. Ground with muscular energy in the legs and feet. Pressing down through the feet. Lift the hands to the front knee. And just breathe. Be aware of how the breath has changed from the beginning of your practice. And continuing to apply muscular energy in the hips and pelvis. Start to lift the arms. And use the breath to stay in the moment. Letting your body and breath work together in harmony. Finding your own body's strengths and limitations. And lower the hands down. And step the left foot back. Preparing for downward dog. Just spread the fingers, curl the toes under, and lift up the knees. Start by walking the knees, releasing any tension in the neck. And just moving around in circles, or side to side. And inhale, lift the hips up, bring the shoulders forward over the wrists in a wave-like motion. Exhale, bend the knees, press the chest to the thighs, lift the hips up. The hips create a kind of circular movement and the spine like a wave. And start to rest and lower the knees. Lift up the hands and sit on the heels. Roll the shoulders back. Rest with palms face forward or on the soles of the feet. And draw the inner thighs towards each other. Press the toenails down. Inhale, lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, draw the navel in, the lower ribs towards the back of the mat. Mindful now how your body's warming up to these poses. We're going to come back to downward dog. Lift up the knees and press the hips back. Extending from the heart out through the fingertips and from the tailbone down to the heels. Now balancing on the left leg, lift the right leg up in three-legged dog. And release the right foot back down. Next side, lift the left leg up. And lower the left leg back down. And widen the feet to the width of the mat. Soften the knees. Take the right hand and thread it underneath to the outside of the left leg. Then twist through the shoulders. And release the right hand in front and thread the left arm underneath, holding the outside of the right leg and twisting the head and shoulders. Look up under the right armpit. And press back through the right hip. And release that left hand back in front. Walk the feet forward, bending the knees. Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to knees, rolling the shoulders back, lengthening the neck. And then exhale, fold again over straight legs. Inhale, up halfway to a flat back. And exhale and fold forward. Once more, inhale up to a flat back. And exhale, head to toes. Pressing the feet and hands down, lifting up through the navel. And release. We'll lift up. Lift the arms. And the palms meet, bring them back to the heart. Bowing the head and looking inward to what you're feeling, experiencing, sensing. Studying internally ourselves. Now walk to the front of the mat if you're not there. Okay. And we'll step the right foot back into high lunge. You can always lower the back heel down if that makes it steadier for you. The lunge allows you to bring the hips a little bit deeper into the pose. Usually the lower your center of gravity is, the easier balance becomes. And lifting the arms. And taking complete breaths. Expanding to the fingertips on the inhale. And contracting to the navel as you exhale. And there may be a big movement or a small movement. Just doing what your body feels right. Good. And then bring the hands down to the front knee. Step the back foot in a bit closer so the back heel is down. And start to fold over the left hip into pyramid pose. Parshvottanasana. Softening the knee as you inhale helps you align the neck and spine. And then on the exhale, tighten the tummy so you can lift up through the navel and squeeze the kneecap. The bigger your breath, the better the pose. The more time you breathe, the more time you have to fully examine what's happening, what you're feeling. Studying the effects of the pose on your body and on your breath and in your mind. Especially as you hold poses longer, the mind element becomes a bigger factor. Step the right foot forward. Inhale halfway up to a flat back. Then exhale and fold over straight legs. Bend the knees and step the left foot back, high lunge. Lift the hands to the right knee. And remember, you can always lower the back heel if you're not feeling steady. Stabilize with strong pelvis and hips. Then lift the arms and breathe. Filling every nook and cranny of your whole body with each inhale, and letting all that air go back to the universe as you exhale with your gratitude. Now, bring the hands down to the front knee. Step the back foot in so the back heel rests comfortably on the mat. And fold now over the right hip. Squeeze the kneecap and lift that hip, the thigh bone up into the hip. Extend the spine out and over the hip. And very slowly start to come downward towards the shin. Nice long breaths gives you time to really settle into the pose and learn more about yourself. How's your mind reacting to this pose? One final deep breath. Getting this nice hamstring stretch. And we'll step the left foot forward on the inhale. And exhale, fold with straight legs. Now bend the knees, squat down with the hips. Inhale, lift the arms into chair pose. Inhale to the fingertips and exhale, strengthening the core, the hips and pelvis. Squeezing to the midline with the legs. One more complete breath, going to your deepest. And inhale, lift up to straight legs. And exhale, rest, refresh, and rejuvenate through the breath. Or if you need to, water. And for the next practice is eagle pose. Start with arms wide, and then sweep the right arm under the left, hooking the elbows, and then bringing the palms to touch. Bend the knees, squat down with the hips. Then balance on the left leg, cross the right knee over the left knee, and toe touch on that side. Focus the gaze on a spot in front of you. Then try and lift those right toes up and balance just with the left leg. Garudasana pose. Roll the shoulders back, lift the elbows up, and tighten the navel. Squat a little deeper. And squeeze the legs together. Last breath. Getting to your deepest pose. Yes. And release. The right foot presses down. The arms sweep up high. And then release. Open the arms, inhaling. Sweep the left arm under the right, hooking the elbows and the palms facing together. Balance on the right leg, bend the knees, and cross the left knee over the right knee, toe touch on the right side. Find your drishti, or focal point for your gaze. And then start to balance without the toes on the floor. And squeeze the legs together. Garudasana. Deepening the pose by squatting a little further down. But keeping the shoulders upright and not folding forward. Okay? Final breath. And then release. Press the feet down. Lift the arms. Spread them open. Yes. Your giant eagle wings. Okay. Now, let's quick do a vinyasa. Inhale, lift the arms, arch back. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Inhale to a flat back, step the feet back to high plank. And exhale, lower, chaturanga, or down to the mat. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Let's step the right foot forward. Warrior one. Virabhadrasana. Now, draw the arm bones down into the shoulders and the shoulder blades down into the back, and integrate that connection of strength and alignment as you bring your weight forward into the right leg, toe touch with the back foot. Okay, keep the shoulders up, neck and spine straight, then lift the back toes, balance on the right leg. Virabhadrasana 3, warrior, bring the back leg higher and the back parallel to the floor. And touch back down with the left foot, warrior one. And hands down, vinyasa, right foot back. High plank, low plank, upward dog, or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And complete breath in, complete breath out. Look forward, step the left foot up. Warrior one, right heel down. Mindfully come into the pose at your own speed, using the breath as a way to stay integrated. Draw the arm bones down into the shoulders, the shoulder blades down into the back, and bring the weight forward, toe touch with the back foot. Keep that neck and trunk and spine all as one straight line. lifting up the back toes. And very gradually, start to table the back into a parallel alignment with the floor. Lifting the back thigh higher without dropping the head or shoulders down. Okay, and touch back down with the back foot. Warrior one. Celebrate. You did it. Hands down, left foot stepping back. High plank and low plank. And upward dog. And downward dog. Yes. And let's once more step the right foot forward. Now turn the left toes to the side. Warrior two. Arms at shoulder height. Inhale, lifting the armpits up and back. And exhale, tightening the tummy and the pelvis. Okay. Now, hold the left hip with the left hand. Tap the back foot closer to the front. And balance on the right fingertips underneath the right shoulder. Begin lifting the back leg up to half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. You can keep your gaze down to make it easier. Unfurl the left arm. Or challenge yourself more, gazing up to the left hand. Good, and now release left foot next to the right. And ragdoll, forward bend with bent knees, relaxed in the upper back to be able to sway around side to side. Okay, step the right foot back, turn the right toes to the right edge of the mat. And lift the arms as we stand once more into Warrior Two. Inhale, lifting the armpits. And exhale, tightening the tummy and pelvic floor to expand and contract. With the breath as your partner. Now, right hand to the right hip. Tap the back foot closer to the front. And balance on the left fingertips. Lift the right leg. Now roll the right shoulder open by perhaps taking the hand and wiping it across, lifting it up, unfurling that right arm. Challenge yourself more, trying to look up to the right hand. And then rest the right foot left next to the left and ragdoll. And releasing tension, rocking side to side. Okay. And step the feet back to downward dog. Having a familiar pose gives the mind a chance to rest. But you can still be aware, maybe finding nuances or minor fine-tuning adjustments. Now, moving to Vashisthasana, turn the heels to the right for side plank and balance on the right arm. Lift up the left. If you choose to, stack the feet. Or you could, if you want, lift the top leg. Even going for the bind around the big toe. And release that. Come back to down dog. Our friendly, familiar down dog. We're going to do the second side, Vashisthasana. Turn the heels to the left, please. Balance on the left arm. Lift up the right arm. Try stacking the feet. Try lifting the right leg. Try binding to the big toe. And when you're finished playing with that, go back to down dog. Nice. Now bring the right knee to the chest. Pivot on the left foot. Slide the right leg underneath, out to the side, stargazer. And step right foot back to downward dog. Draw the left knee to the chest. Pivot on the right foot. And slide the left leg underneath. Open the right arm up. And release. Left foot back to down dog. And let's come down to rest in child's pose. And take the weight off our hands. Bring the hands around to hold the heels. Rabbit pose, tucking the chin to the chest, bringing the crown of the head to the mat, then beginning to lift the hips up. And feeling a stretch in the back of the neck. And lower the hips down and slowly raise the head back up to upright position. And lift the hips up off the heels for Ustrasana, or camel pose. And the hands maybe holding here in the back of the waist. Or you can try reaching to the heels. Press the hips forward. Lift the heart up. And lengthen the throat and the back of the neck. And press the toenails into the mat to lift you back up and arms up over the head. Release. And give your body time to readjust. understanding when the body has needs to rest, to breathe, to rehydrate. All right. And we'll finish with one more squat. Squat with the knees wide and the heels close together, and the elbows now inside the knees. Squeeze the knees in against the elbows, creating some tension in the lower abdomen and the pelvis. Then lower the elbows towards the ankles. Squat down, working those upper arms down in front of the shins as low as possible. Getting ready for Bakasana, our crow pose. So the heels lift up nice and high. Then tilt the head and shoulders forward so more of the weight is coming into the hands. Lift up one foot and then lift up the second. And squeeze the knees towards the elbows, lifting the navel. Okay, this could practice that, or if you have a headstand practice and you can carefully, without banging your head on the floor, bring the head gently to the mat for a tripod headstand, and you lift the legs. Come out, bending the knees to the elbows. And then balance on the hands. Lift the head up. Wow. And rest. Feet down. You did great. Come to seated. Oops. Still on? Yes. Knocking things off here. See, we have Sukhasana. Now face. Crossing the ankles. If you prefer to be on a lift of a blanket, you can do that. And take some deep restorative breaths. And begin to widen the knees so the shins are more parallel, the ankles in front of one another. Spiral the inner thighs down, move the buttocks, sitting bones wide. And then this is auspicious pose, or a version of it. Inhale, lift the front of the shoulders, the head of the arm bones up into the shoulder sockets. And with your exhale, draw the navel in and begin to fold forward, keeping the hands not too far ahead and just tiptoeing the hands forward a little bit at a time as you feel your way into the stretch. Aware of each breath in and each breath out to go deeper. And try not to let the sitting bones lift up. Keep pulling the navel up and away from the floor to lengthen the tailbone and sitting bones to the mat. You can even press forward through the hands and fingers. And inhale, lift the head up and switch the order of the feet, so whichever foot was in front will now come behind. Okay. Widen the sitting bones. Use muscular energy in the inner thighs to pull the heels inward towards the sitting bones. Muscular energy in the navel center, lifting up through the navel to keep the tailbone lengthening and the sitting bones anchored to the mat. Big breath in, lifting the front of the shoulders, the head of the arm bones rising up, and then long exhalation to sense where your body's limit is today. And without judgment or expectation, keep experimenting. And you might find over a series of breaths that the body becomes more flexible. Take one final deep breath. Let it all out. And inhale and lift back up to a straight spine. Open the legs to a wide angle. Spread the toes and press down through the inner thighs. Draw the lower back in. Lift the head of the arm bones up, shoulders wide. And keeping that muscular energy of the kneecaps lifting, the tummy toning, you're going to start to fold and breathe forward. Inhale, lifting up, out, and over the hips. And exhaling to go deeper as you fold and bow the head down. The bigger your breath, the more you can learn about yourself. And you might surprise yourself with how flexible you become when you're taking each breath with mindfulness. Inhale and lift the head and shoulders. Good. And leave the left leg out to the side. Bend the right knee and bring the right foot into the inner left thigh. Revolved head to knee. Parsha Janushirshasana. Taking that left hand, pressing it into the floor, and using the left elbow against the inner left thigh as a way to spiral the shoulders open. Take this right shoulder back, the right armpit back. So keep a little bend in that right elbow so the shoulder's moving back more than the hand. Because otherwise you can kind of dislocate the shoulder by taking the hand back too far. So bring the palm forward, the armpit back, and then start to reach over the right ear towards the left foot. Stay strong in the leg. Hug the muscles to the bone. Pull the navel in. And just observe where your body's limitations are. Work with those. Use your strengths to expand those boundaries gradually, progressively, and intelligently. And then release that side stretch. Lift back to the center and switch the legs to open the right leg. Bend the left knee. Come to the front of the sitting bones. Flex the foot and start to apply muscular energy through the thighs, the pelvis, the lower abdomen. Raise the left arm. Have a slight bend in that left elbow. Take the left armpit back more and press the palm forward. And over a series of breaths, begin to stretch along that left side of the waist. Okay, don't let the left sitting bone lift up, but keep using the core strength to press the left hip and sitting bone down. And you might notice a difference from one side to the other. Just work slowly, progressively, incrementally. Observe, learn, and discover how you can get the optimal benefit from the pose. Maintain that optimal alignment. And slowly release. Back up to a straight back. And we'll begin our finishing series of reclining poses. Start on your back, the knees lifted, the arms up over the head. And make cactus arms, bending the elbows to right angles. Widen the feet to the width of the mat. And windshield wiper the knees to the right. Take a few breaths, lengthening through that left hip. If the right knee it doesn't reach the floor, the right hand can add a little bit of pressure to that right knee. Then switch sides, lift the knees, and windshield wiper the knees to the left side. If the left knee doesn't reach the floor, the left hand can add a little pressure there on that side. Lengthen through the right side of the hip, extending the right knee down and away, while reaching out through the right fingertips, pinning the right shoulder down. And release the knees, lift them up and go back to the first side. And now you can try using the right heel on the outside of the left knee to pin it down and add a deeper stretch in this left thigh and hip. Adding the breath to that stretch. So you have time to really examine what you're feeling in the body. Release this side. And take both knees to the second side. And if you like, hook that left heel on top of the right knee, pin it down. And breathe along the right side of the waist, the right hip, the right rib cage, all the way out to the right fingertips. And uncross the knees and bring them back to the center. Lift up the knees and hug the knees into the chest. Apanasana. Letting the arms lengthen as you inhale, so there's no restriction to the breath. Fill the lungs completely. And when you're ready, exhale, drawing the knees a little closer to the chest, the navel to the spine. Another complete breath. Rest the feet down to the mat and press the feet down enough to lift the buttocks and slide the backs of the hands underneath. Resting the buttocks on the hands, lift the legs one at a time. To invert the legs. And you're welcome to stay right like this. If you wish to lift the hips higher, go into plow, taking the feet behind the head and lifting the hips, holding the back of the kidneys. Bring the elbows towards the midline, shoulder blades to the spine, and if you wish, then lift the legs to shoulder stand, Sarvangasana. Extend up through the tailbone. Press back through the head, so there's space under the back of the neck. And when your body's ready to come out of the pose, bend the knees to the chest, around the back, and roll the spine slowly back down, keeping the knees towards the armpits, and happy baby. And either holding the backs of the thighs or the ankles, or even the sides of the feet can be used to pull the knees closer to the floor. And lastly, slowly turning the head to one side like a wise old owl, and then to the second side. And then, when you're ready to release and stretch out on the mat in Shavasana, corpse pose. The feet about as wide as the mat. Heels stretching away. And then, if you need one more full body stretch, go ahead. Get all the stretching that you need. The fingers and the toes and the hands. And then bring the arms down along your side with a comfortable space so that the palms can face upward. And the shoulder blades rest flat under the back. And take all the time you need to assume a comfortable position. And when you feel you've reached that optimal alignment, then stop fidgeting and let your body come into stillness. And when your body is still and quiet, your mind will also begin to quiet and calm down and be more inwardly focused. And we can assist the mind in that journey inward by giving it a simple mantra to recite. Thinking to yourself the sound so as you inhale, and imagining the sound hum as you exhale. Letting the mind fill with this sound of so as you inhale, and that sound continues until the lungs are full. And thinking the sound hum as you exhale, letting that sound last through the entire breath out. So there's continuous sound of so, hum, unbroken continuum of sound, filling the mind. Good. Just continuing to repeat that mantra silently to yourself. So Om, peace, peace, peace. And start to deepen your breath in order to reawaken the mind and body. Start to move and stretch through the hands, head, and roll over to your right side in a fetal position. Taking time to reassess internally what you felt, mentally, energetically, and physically. And when you're ready, come back up to easy seated pose, Sukhasana. Well, congratulations on this very challenging practice. I think you're superb yogis. I bow to your ability to study yourself and your practice of Svādhyāya. Namaste.